So it looks like we got 4 captains this year. All of these lads are returning from last year. So they're the 4 faces I am familiar with.
Yep.
A lot of turnover on the team, honestly. Not unusual.
How tough is it to keep a wrestling team? You know, and again, we're looking at Leominster, where for years and years football had always been #1.
Right.
And I know some of the coaches frown upon multi-discipline. They like you to concentrate nowadays versus like when we were in school, they liked you to play every sport because it rounded you out.
I think there's pros and cons to each. Personally, so this lad is Dorian, wrestled last year also. Good kid. I watched this kid last year. The year before that, I think the year before was his first year. So I think he's a senior. This nice hip toss. See, good weight distribution. He was not re-rolled. Nice takedown. Okay, so
2 points for a takedown.
Two on the takedown. And you know, we'll talk people through as it happens so that they don't have to remember so much stuff. But so watching Dorian here, so I got some idea of his capability, and you can get that right quick just by watching the hips. His hips a little lower, a little behind Algonquin. So he's in a controlled and balanced position. He's got the wrist locked up, and he's got the guy's ankle locked up with his own leg. So he's going to look for some kind of move that is going to get this guy onto his back. You want to expose the shoulders to the mat, then you start racking up big points.
And leg strength, very important. Besides overall conditioning, the wind. I can remember the torture it was to catch your breath after one period. 2-minute periods, right?
Yeah. Stamina is just a big piece of the sport. And in order to build that tank, it's just hard work. The lactic acid built up here when you have so many muscles firing, unlike a lot of sports which have areas, certain areas of your physique are going to
every muscle.
Yeah, so all your stabilizers are constantly firing. So come on, Dorian. Oh my, come on. Yeah. So his okay, out of bounds. Lucky on that.
No points for that, right?
No points. Points are awarded when the referee determines control of the opponent. So Algonquin shot, but could not establish control. Much better. Okay, so Dorian read that move coming in. Same as the last time, but he didn't have the speed to counter it. This time he did. So quick learner, you know.
Anticipated it was coming and reacted the proper
He saw
way.
the move. He saw the move in mid-flight, if you will, and was able to counter before it was landed.
Still points for riding time? That's still part of it?
You know, they've been messing around with that a bit. I don't think that's the case. I believe they do, in the event of a tie, they do OT.
Yep.
They have overtime periods.
And a lot more concentration on safety. I was reading the handbook in terms of inspection of your skin, because I can remember we used to have boil breakouts.
Yeah.
From the, I imagine concussions, not spitting to lose weight. I mean, there's got to be a lot more restrictions than there used to be back in the olden days.
So that was Poor defense. Nice shot by Algonquin. He initiated that with much more speed and authority. So the reason he lost that move the last time he tried it was because of just a very short pause. Dorian is working to get himself up and to a neutral position. Right now he's being totally controlled. So you're going to watch him probably, okay.
How long are the breaks? Just to reset?
Just to reset. It's not considered a break. So both wrestlers now are tired. And, okay. Good counter. So moves are slower. Sometimes things get sloppy now. But one of the things that does happen in the third period when you're in a close bout is things emerge out of you that maybe haven't previously. So it comes down to a lot of Dorian. Jeez.
I think at this point he might be more tired.
Yeah, which yeah, he's bailing out. There's another 2 points. All right, 6-5. All right.
Conditioning comes in right now.
Yeah, comes in big. If he's
got an escape here, right?
He needs an escape and an escape and a takedown. But there's the 1 point.
Yep.
Okay, so now 2. So if Algonquin gets another takedown, it's tied up again. So. It's a deep shot, and Dorian is not defending that well at all. It's tied up. 7-7. Now he's looking for that 1 point escape.
Got it.
You got 20 seconds. Stay low. 10 seconds.
Hang on.
10 seconds.
Hang on.
1 point is all you need to win. He gets to. Oh! Okay, so that's a good match when you see two opponents relatively equally matched. That was a fight.
Equally tired.
That was a fight.
Right to the basket. What weight class was that?
That was 26.
Yeah.
132, if you remember. Geez, we got. What the heck happened here? We got nobody there.
That's a forfeit.
God, that's a forfeit. They get 6 points as a team off of that forfeit. Those are tough to take.
Hope there's not another.
Okay, so who's this lad here? No. Yeah, this is the other team. Okay. Thanks, Bradley. All right, so quick assessment here. Mr. Wrestler, his name is James. Okay, so that was poor. He reached high, so Algonquin grabbed his leg. Legs are obviously vulnerable. If you look at two wrestlers, when they face each other, they bend over. They become less vulnerable. It is a way that you're protecting your legs. Your legs are supporting you. So the Leominster wrestler is, being dominated. And this kid from Algonquin tightens, and that's called a pin or a fall. That's a 6-pointer for the team.
So let me ask. I can remember there used to be 2 starting positions. At the beginning, you used to start standing up, and then there was...
Yeah, that's called neutral.
Okay.
So facing on your feet is called neutral.
Do they still go the other way, too?
Referee's position is what it was called.
Okay.
It still is called that. But now you have choice. It's so if you are... Attaboy, Andreas. Come on, stay low, stay low. So here's a classic mismatch. You've got long and lean, and you've got kind of short and stocky. This is a classic matchup.
Now, when you wrestled, did you find the long and lean tougher?
They always were. I got to tell you, you know what it's like, Jack? The thing is, they're everywhere. You know, they cover so much real estate. It's almost impossible to protect. One of the things they're great at, or one of the opportunities that Andreas has, is what's called a heel pick. Because they have so much leg exposure, a heel pick works nicely against the tall guys. Andreas is defensively very good. Now, should he have allowed that penetration? No, ideally. But he got himself in that pickle, and his resistance is outstanding. Because this kid is about, that's out of bounds. That should be out of bounds.
Now, I can remember, again, going back to that skill class at Springfield. We had different matches before the final match, which was our exam, going up against the lanky guys. The lanky guys seemed to have a lot more leverage.
Yes.
And they were tougher to deal with in terms they felt stronger.
They say, every wrestler optimizes their own biomechanics.
Yeah.
Okay, so referee is signaling a penalty point awarded to Leominster because Algonquin, in the down position, locked hands on his opponent. You can only lock hands in a pinning combination.
Okay.
Not in a riding. He did it again. Okay, so it's either 3 or 4 of those, and you're cooked. You're cooked. You lose. So he's had 2 within 10 seconds. I don't. Only suggestion, where's that coming from?
Bad habit.
Well, a really inexperienced. Come on, you got a
neck bridge.
Andreas, you got 3. Come on. Okay. Ref awards 3 back points. 3 back points comes off of a near pin held for 5 seconds.
Okay.
So the ref will count that out. 2-second count will give you 2 points. The next increment is a 5-second count for 3 points called near fall. That's again, the ref missed it. That's like any sport. Yeah, the refs miss stuff. So, we have
Did it almost caught himself that time he was going for it.
Yeah.
Now he's consciously thinking about it. I can't do that. Now, did you find that you got to the point where 99% of it became instinct? Your reactions were all almost like, as Joe McAvoy at Springfield used to say, if you conscious proprioception, it becomes a habit. Remember that?
So the term intuitively makes a lot of sense, but I do think wrestling certainly is a sport that gives the body and nature, if you will. I think we're all endowed physically with adaptation capability, and adaptation for me is beneath thought. So you spend enough time on the mat and you don't thoughtfully wrestle, you instinctively respond, react, and initiate based on cues.
Yep.
And I think a lot of those cues, I wrestled a blind wrestler once, so those cues, in my opinion, are not necessarily visible. Yeah,
That was it. It's pooped.
One of the things about the sport that is awesome and painful is what we just saw, the pin. The sport is about complete domination, which is represented by the pin. You know, it's not a submission, if you will, it's domination. So this youngster here, Anthony, he's got a lot of mat time. He's a good wrestler. This should be a good match. He has lots of technique, lots of skill. So the difference with that takedown and the other single legs that we've seen, Anthony was in and up.
Yep.
One move, in and up. Where the other takedowns, single legs that we saw, were in and they dropped. Anthony maintained the intensity in and up was one move. Mm-hmm. So once you got the guy in the air, he's got nothing. You've taken all of his stability away. Now you do what you will with him. Anthony is keeping his legs separate. Oh, okay, he gets out of that. We should see a lot of movement on Anthony's part. As one move fails, he'll go to another. He'll work the head, he'll work the legs, but he'll continue to move on the wrestler. So if you are continuing, if you have continuous action, movement that is not like printing letters, but more like cursive, where your movement continues to flow, the other wrestler is only responding and not as capable of initiating a move. And so far, that's what we're seeing with Anthony. Right now, he's working for a cradle. Okay.
In terms of what you said, I almost can equate it to boxing, where you feel each other out, and through that process, you find a weakness that you capitalize on. Does that hold true here?
Yeah, okay. It does. And as the match wears on, those gaps, those weaknesses continue to reveal themselves. All right, so Anthony should not lose this. An experienced wrestler, once he has an opponent on his back, should end it. Anthony is just going to run out of time.
So he's going to get, what, 3 for that? Yeah.
Yeah, that looked like a 5. Right. He put up 3 for... Okay, so...
I got to take one. I want to hear what's going on out there.
So what we watch now is who initiates the first move. Anthony was first. He's up. He's picking hands, fingers, trying to break the grip. He'll spin and the kid goes right down to legs. That's good training. That's good training. Anthony continues, though. So Anthony got himself out of that by hooking the leg. So his left leg got him out of there. So the body awareness is just so interesting.
Oh, what happened?
Looks like blood. So we used to wrestle in blood. And, no value judgment here. I mean, there are reasons driving the hyper sensitivity to blood, but at the first sign of blood, it is like lights out. Okay, hold the phone, get out there, and they handle it. So they inspect the mat, make sure they get everything off the mat. They got the wrestler over there with a medical tech. They'll do everything they can to stop it. It's not unusual for a bloody nose. They'll stuff it with cotton to stop the flow.
Now, when does it get to the point where if they can't stop the bleeding, they call, basically it's not a forfeit, it's you win by default or?
Yeah, so it's not a forfeit, but it's another. It just gets another name.
Fireman?
I don't know what it. I don't know. Failure to continue. Injury, probably. Injury, I suspect. So you see, he's got a wad of cotton stuck up his nose there, and you know, you don't want to leave that thing hanging out. You just want to ram that thing up there and get on with it.
Something else for him to think about right now, which isn't good.
So one of the things that can be hard for someone who's not watched wrestling, and that's probably most people because it's not one of the bigger sports, and the stands are not full. Anthony should be able to finish it here. Ample time on the clock. He knows what he's doing. So when an experienced wrestler is in a pinning combination, it only tightens, you know, like an anaconda.
Yep.
You know, eventually you succumb because you've run out of air. And so you got your muscles are blood starved and oxygen starved because this guy has found the way to restrict oxygen and blood flow. I mean, if you're up against a really a solid technician, you can be very near passing out. This is going to end quickly, and I don't mean to be disrespectful, but we have an experienced guy against inexperienced. We have a muscular guy against, you know, a youngster that has a ways to go. You're going to find that in high school. You know, you got grade 9 to grade 12. You got pre-puberty and you got puberty. And the endowment that comes with puberty is huge. So I think this, you know, to my eye.
How quick he got that leg, huh?
Yeah. So this should end it here. And again, you know, and that's not me being mean or hating on this kid. I don't know him from Adam. That guy released him. That's a little peculiar to me. I don't know why he did that. Maybe he wants mat time. I'm not sure. But he can end it when he chooses, is what I'm saying. But I think for
he did
this
it again. He let him go again. Yeah.
He's releasing him.
Yeah.
Now let's just play this out. See, okay, if this kid continues and it's 15-0, that's called a tech fall, meaning with a 15-point spread, the Algonquin wrestler would be the victor in what they call a tech fall. See, that's a nice move. That one, there's no escape from that.
He let him go again.
He let him go. See?
Yeah, he's looking for mat time, which
I don't disagree with.
Yeah.
I mean, I've coached kids that way because, you know, dual meets are dual meets. See, there it is.
There it is.
Okay, and you're wrestling for your sectionals, for your states. This is all prep to Super Bowl, if you will.
He realized right from the get-go that he was in control enough to get it that way.
Yeah.
In a way, it's good for the opponent too because he gets time and he's
Completely
wrestling against
agree.
a experienced wrestler, and you learn something. Again, I'm going to go back to years ago when I started skiing. They used to tell me if I wanted to be a good skier, I have to ski with people that are better than me.
Yeah.
So I always tried to ski with like the Timmy Crowleys and
great point.
Yeah. So
great point.
He learned something just there.
And you know, I'll give credit to the Algonquin wrestler. You know, he didn't. You know, we observed the releases.
Yeah.
Essentially, a trained eye, if you will. He didn't make it blatant or disrespectful or look, you know, stupid like it was, you know. He was respectful, and I think that's. I think all wrestlers. You know, so that lad that won, he wasn't always the alpha male or the top dog.
Yeah.
All these guys in this gym know what it's like to get beat up. And senior year, you're going to be a lot different than you were freshman year. And you don't forget freshman year. And so it builds a bond when you run into somebody who's in their freshman year when you're in your senior year. And I think we may have just seen that.
Yeah. And the respect between the two.
Yes.
Where where you said he didn't make an issue out of it. There's no place to hide, and it's one-on-one. How much more pure can you get?
Exactly.
You know?
Exactly. And you raise a great point that I think is somewhat unique to this sport. There's nothing sweeter than a wrestling win because it is 100% you that got it. Conversely, a wrestling loss is also 100% yours to bear. And just like weightlifting, you lift heavy weight, you get stronger. You carry a heavy load in terms of, the pain, the sadness, the anger, the frustration of a loss. You get stronger for life. That's done. That's done. So you can tell a first year, this lad, I'm sure, his first year, when he went on his back, you didn't see anything pop up.
Yeah.
For an experienced wrestler, when they go on their back, oh, jeez, look, boom, because an experienced wrestler, he does not want to see lights overhead. He does not want to be looking at lights. And so we were talking about an instinct earlier. The instinct is you pop up like you've been stung, like you've been hit, like you've been poked in a very sensitive place.
Oh, I got more experience watching boxing, and I got in the ring a few times. And if you watched Sugar Ray Leonard, he got hit and he got hurt a few times. Mm-hmm. But the way he handled it when he was hurt, he threw more punches. He just punched his way out of the fog. Versus some people would hang on. Mm-hmm. His way, almost like, is what you're talking about. When these guys find themselves on their back, bang, they throw more into it. They throw more punches. They give more effort. That's a way out of it. That's a way out of the hurt. Experience.
But it's also the desire to not be dominated. And
good thing none of these guys are married yet.
Well, maybe we call that willful domination.
And sometimes I'm gonna get one of these. I got to get in trouble one broadcast. Everyone.
All right. So, okay. Now it looked like that was out of bounds.
Yeah.
Here's why it wasn't. Well, the Leominster wrestler was clearly out of bounds.
His feet were still in a circle.
2 points of contact. Only 2 need to remain in bounds for it to be legal, for it to still be counted in points. Dominic, okay. Another new face for me, so we'll just assess it as we. Okay, yeah, it's a nice. We used to call that a souffle. Well, it's to his credit, he got out of that. One of the things that can be confusing to a spectator watching a match is, like, what the heck's going on here? Nothing's happening. It can appear to be lack of action. To which I would say the amount of force, energy, the number of muscles that are being contracted are just huge. So sometimes when nothing is happening is because equal force, equal resistance is what's in play. And in order to stabilize when you have maximum force coming from each opponent, there's a huge fatigue that comes with that. So nothing can be the way it looks, but nothing is wrong in terms of the description of what is happening and the exertion level by each of these wrestlers.
Is that almost like an isometric contraction where you're putting force against an immovable object? You're both doing it.
Yeah.
So you both become the door frame.
Yeah, yeah. And I think it is just like that. And the only difference is that you don't mind losing to a door frame.
Yeah, you don't.
But you do mind losing to an opponent in front of a gymnasium full of teammates and spectators. That's ugly, nasty, and you never get used to that. So one of the beauties of this sport is you get yourself into a hideous situation, and sometimes what comes out of you is something that never came out of you before. And that can be, so for me, I like to think of that as potential. You know, that reservoir within us that I like to believe, my personal, it's immeasurable. If we genuinely seek to fathom it, it's endless.
And sports like wrestling tap into that.
They give the competitor the opportunity to go a little deeper. I used to tell Cash last year, my nephew, he wrestled 4 years. It changed him. His description. When he was on his back, I would say, Cash, when you're on your back, I just want you to hang on for 1 second longer. And once you do that, I want you to hang on 1 more second longer. That's how I measure potential. It's just in those micro measurements. Just take another second longer. Fight that pin. His freshman year, he just got, he got beat up. He got beat up. He wanted to quit.
Fear.
Fear is something that I think today when you look. So Leominster wrestler reached high. That's a bad thing. If he does that again, Algonquin's going to go low, take his legs. Okay. Yeah. Okay, that's called a chicken wing. 1 is not good. Oh, and a bar arm. A chicken wing and a wrist is a painful end, and here it comes. This he won't get out of. Yeah. But that comes from having your hands and your arms in the wrong place. Okay, so here comes Leominster's heavyweight, Zach. Zach?
This is the one you said was 16-1?
Yeah, he's 16-1. Look at the physique of each. Zach is an unusual heavyweight. This kid is a chiseled heavyweight. I mean, you just don't see that. He's a great kid, too. Yeah. He's a great kid. And he has put in a lot of hard work. Last year, I can say that from experience. Last year I went to every practice in support of my nephew. Attaboy, Zach! And these heavyweights, the speed, the tempo, the number of moves, it's much less at this weight. He should be able to finish it up here. No, he gave that up. A first period, so now you see him working toward a cradle. When you bring head to knee, of your opponent, you have opportunity for cradle.
So did he call that an escape, or because kind of looked?
Yeah. So
looked like he let him out.
It was an escape, but heavyweights often when they're on their belly, they're almost immovable.
Mm-hmm.
So Zach has enough experience to know that, okay, I got 60 seconds in here. I took this kid down once. I'll take him down again, and I'll work for my pin.
Yep.
But off the belly, it's really, really tough to move. 250, 260. Yeah, 260 pounds. That's a lot of weight.
It's a lot of weight, yeah. Even if you're 260 pounds.
Exactly.
So what he did was he let him up so he could get a fresh start to go for a leg, and
so that
instead of just wasting energy trying to turn him over.
Yeah, very, very tough to move a heavyweight from belly to back. So he released, and they started in neutral, facing each other. He took him down again. Now the score is 6-1. We'll see what Zach works for here.
He was looking good too. He wasn't even sucking wind. He was.
Well, that's the thing. You look at Zach. He's just extremely well proportioned. He's not carrying poundage that is not valuable. It's either, it's muscle. I mean, I don't know what his BMI is, but he's pretty lean for a 250-pound heavyweight. Very, very well proportioned.
He's just looking for a weakness, exploring.
So he's got the wrist now, and so he's gonna. Okay, you're gonna try the. Yep. But you see, the safety position that a heavyweight returns to is belly, and it's just really tough to move him from belly. Zach is trying. Now, if he runs around the head, that's a good play. You got that, Zach! You got that! Stay! So, in my opinion, he just released it a little early, but that's a really good play. You control the man's head. The body eventually comes. And the thing is, you just got to be patient on that.
Like a ball constrictor. Yeah, there's a lot. You can see a lot of that.
Yeah, so here we have the heavyweights in the final seconds of the second period.
Let's go, Zach.
Okay, so you see, this is, if I'm Zach, I'm looking at this kid, getting up way slow, and I've decided I'm going to pin him. And
he's got him now.
So what Zach has there, it's called, keep that, yeah, okay. So 2 on the takedown, then the ref called that for potentially dangerous. So again, you mentioned it early on, safety. That was the basis of that call. So the match was stopped, and they reset back in the middle. Take the chin.
Who's Lemus's coach?
James Shearer.
Okay.
Sheehan.
Sheehan.
James Sheehan. Excellent coach. He has been with the team for 10 years.
Wow.
And he is formerly a college wrestler. And he was an accomplished college wrestler. The school, really lucky to have a coach of that quality. I don't, in my the time that I, from the 70s to now, I don't know that we've had a college wrestler running the program, and so I think he's really pretty high end. He runs a great practice, puts the kids through a lot of work. He's really built some very, very good wrestlers. The ones that he's been able to have for 4 years, he's really improved their capability. One of the problems is that just having 4 years. Most of the other sports, what you have feeder systems. So what you have when you get a high school football player, is you got a kid that may have, he may have eight years under his belt, or baseball or basketball, right? So you got the feeder system. That's not so much the case with, you don't find that's not well established in wrestling. They do have clubs. They do have camps that you can attend to sharpen your skill. So they're okay. I'm looking at 47-13. The conclusion would be Algonquin dominated Leominster, and that would be accurate. We did have some, strong showing, some individuals, and it's another component of the sport. You have a team, but you also have the individual dimension of the sport. So your win or loss is recorded individually, and you're not saddled with the team's loss.
Now that's it.
Bada bing.
Bada bing. That was quick.
Yeah, it was.
Yeah.
It was, and part of it was about the domination. Algonquin ended, many of their matches very, very quickly. So, yeah, Jack, this was fun.
Yeah,
this is fun. Hey, we'll have to do it again.
You're gonna come when we do the. We're gonna try to do a couple of swim meets. You want?
Swim. I swim like a rock.
Yeah.
I was always able to sink to the bottom of any pool.
That's all right, though. Somebody's got to bring up the bottom,
Yeah, I can broadcast from the bottom of the pool. Yeah, it's.
Yeah, I think we're going to try to do a. We're going to try to do a swim meet
down here. Yeah, well, you'll need find yourself a mermaid on that one.
All right.